Take me back to the good old days when I didn't feel pain, when I didn't feel ashamed. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Hello, and welcome to His Light in the Darkness podcast. I am Shonna Fontaine. I started this podcast basically inspired by a devotional that I wrote, a book that I wrote about depression, anxiety, addiction, how to get through it, how to get by it, and how to find His light in the darkness. I have my very special friend Meagan with me again. She is going to be a common face, I believe, on the podcast, which I'm very happy to have her.
Me too.
Beautiful soul. And today I decided that a good subject to talk about would be how to get through sexual and emotional abuse. I know that a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but it's definitely something important because a lot of kids or even adults, it just depends on what situation you're in, you tend to get towards depression, addiction, anxiety, fear. I mean, basically the devotional or the reason for this podcast, what you suffer with in all of that is directly related to sexual, emotional, physical abuse.
That's so true. It attacks, I would say, all ages.
Yeah,
it really doesn't discriminate. So,
no. And I'll tell a little of my story throughout this podcast, and I've written a book. So it's called Skeletons. It's on Amazon, and a lot of people like it because I use my own stories to inspire and try to help. Like the reason I named it Skeletons is because when we have any, especially as younger, well, actually no, even as adults, when we have any abuse, we feel like we should shield ourselves, put ourselves away from the spotlight. We need to hide ourselves, and it's like we feel guilt, even though we shouldn't feel guilty.
Lots of shame.
Yeah, lots of shame. And even though you haven't done anything, you still wear those scars.
Yes.
So it's like you want to hide away. You want to, not anyone to see. So what I was thinking, and the reason why I decided to do this subject was because I was watching a show. These shows, I don't think that anyone of these writers have lived in the real world at all. And so they were talking about sexual abuse, right? And these kids are like, oh yeah, the same thing happened to me. And I'm sitting there going, people don't do that. They don't come out and go, me too.
Yeah, no, not the typical.
I mean, not if you've truly suffered, if you've truly experienced it, especially as you're a young person, because you don't want anybody to know.
They're very quiet about it, very secretive.
Yeah. So them coming out with these shows and, oh yeah, me too. It's like anybody who's truly done it. I always say a victim knows a victim, a survivor knows a survivor.
That's a good point.
I mean, it's evident. If you've been through it, you know it. So that's why I wrote the book. If anybody reads the book, they're going to go, oh yeah, she experienced it. But it doesn't have to be kids. I know we talk about it a lot. I mean, society talks about it a lot with kids, which is very important. I mean, it's something that has resonated with me just because of all my experiences. Whenever I was younger, I joked that I had a tattoo on my forehead and it said, married men hit on me. And that was from the age of, 10.
Young. Far too young.
Yeah, far too young. And before anybody says, it is, because I was in church. My father's a pastor or was a pastor. I mean, long history of church. And it doesn't happen just in church. A lot of people go, oh yeah, of course it was church. No, it's everywhere.
Oh, everywhere.
There's bad people everywhere.
Everywhere.
So it's not one group of people. It's not one race of people. It's not one...
It does not discriminate again. I mean, it's really everywhere. And probably a lot of places you have no idea.
Oh, yeah,
because of the hush to it. I mean...
Well, that's how I grew up. Hush, hush, sweeping under the carpet. And I remember, so this is like, I have a couple memories that really heavily stand out.
Yeah.
And I was in church, we were having practice, huge choir. I was part of the choir. It was like 100-person choir.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Okay,
so I'm dressed as the bridegroom. We're going and standing on the platform. They're reading something, and then we take our exit. So I'm just in line waiting there. And there's a guy standing beside me. He was about 35, married. And all of a sudden, I feel this hand on my hand. And he's going like this and like rubbing my hand. I'm going, so.
I can't imagine how uncomfortable.
Okay, thank you for that lead in.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
because people will tell you, well, why didn't you scream? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
It's shocking. You don't really know how to handle it. It's almost like, did this 35-year-old married man touch me?
Thank you.
And was the hand open, like kind of open and out in public, or was it kind of hidden?
No, it was hidden. Yeah, it was hidden. But it's funny. It's like you already know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking to say, because you do. You get paralyzed.
Yes.
And you're sitting there and you're
paralyzed.
like, what just happened? Like, am I actually here? Did that actually happen? Did that guy actually touch me? And was he trying to? And luckily they called my name. So, okay, Shonna, it's your turn. And then I walked up. So he was still like trying to, and you just freeze. You're just going, did I do something? I mean, I was dressed in a full wedding gown. It wasn't like I was dressed in a bikini or something. I had this hideous wedding gown.
A bride, ironically enough.
And I'm like, but you do. If anybody's been through it, they know you freeze.
Yes.
And you're just like, it's like your brain is trying to even process. And then what if you scream? Well, guess what? You're going to look like the bad guy. You know?
Because you're making it really public, right?
Yeah.
When you're already so in shock over it. So I don't necessarily know that screaming would be the thing to do. You know, because it is within a place that you know, a church. He is a married man that you know. Versus like if it was someone, say, walking down the street, then yes, maybe a stranger you would scream.
Yes.
But you know, you're in the house of God and you think that you're safe, but you know this man, and how do you react to that? And if your name wasn't called, how much longer would he have done that?
Exactly. The crazy thing though was the next time we had choir practice, his wife was in the choir in my section. I was soprano. In my section.
Soprano.
So she comes. Well, it's funny because now I'm not so much soprano. As we age,
right?
Our voices get
absolutely.
I was like first soprano, so it's not so much that way anymore. It's not like I sound.
Yeah. But things change the older we get, and that includes our lovely voices.
But she did. She would just stare at me.
Oh, so she might have known.
I don't know.
Behind closed doors, we don't know if he said something about you,
or even said something like, "Oh, well, she likes me," or "Oh, she looked at me." And so this wife is looking at me, and I'm sitting there going, "I wonder if she knows. I wonder if she thinks I was the one that was touching his hand,
right,
when he was the one that was touching mine."
And explain to me, or to us, Shonna, what you were telling me again the other day, that you looked older for your age.
I did look older, and I was smiley, and I was happy. I didn't dress risque. You know, I just dressed proper, I guess. Yeah. It wasn't like drawing attention.
Sure.
And unfortunately, it actually took me down a road that I had to watch everything I said.
I can't imagine.
Can you imagine, like,
just because
thinking?
Right. Because, you probably looked older.
I was, I looked older. I looked more mature. And for some reason, people just took a liking to my look. And it wasn't like...
You weren't, flirting back. No. It wasn't like that, but they felt that they could just help themselves to you.
Yes.
And that's where it's just so wrong that he would violate by even touching you.
Oh, well, the worst. So, the worst when I found out that people that you trust are not, and that's the big thing with like sexual abuse, no matter what, you know what age it is. It's usually somebody you know. Whether it be family, friends, I mean, it's always somebody you know, at least in my experience. So I was 13, and there was a guy that was in the church. He worked in this office, with other people. And I just happened to walk in, and I was just my joyous self. Life is good. La, la, la. Hey, good to see you. Here's a hug. Well, then he decided to get frisky and feel me up.
During that hug?
Yes. I was 13 and he was rubbing private parts.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he took your cheeriness and your, smiling as like an open door to, like I just said, help himself.
Yeah.
And just again, violate. And I'm sure you said he was married as well.
Oh yeah, he had kids. He was in my church, and like I said, I'm just using my experiences. It does not mean there are plenty of people in churches that are nice, respectful, very safe.
Sure.
There are bad people everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I just want to make sure and put that disclaimer out.
Yes.
Just because they happen to be in church does not mean that all people, all Christians, because there are Christians that don't go to church and Christians that do.
Mm-hmm. And it was just your personal experience.
My personal experience.
It happened at your church. It did, that's where it was.
But then he would watch me. So we were still going to the church. I even went to the police.
Oh, nice.
And I said, I want to report this man. And they said, well, I mean, this was back in the, late 80s?
Oh,
late 80s. So they didn't believe kids too much back then. It was
such a different time.
Yeah. He's a good citizen. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Especially, can you imagine in the church, married man, kids?
Yeah. He's a good man. And he would watch me. He would sit in his car right after church, and just watch me after I had reported him to the police.
So he knew.
He knew. Oh. So he would just watch me. So the reason I'm sharing this story is I'm sure there are people out there that have been in that position, whether it be, let's say, an older woman at a family event and one of her family or in-laws or friends has done that and tried to take advantage. And then you try to report them and you try to share it, and then they just watch you and make it really uncomfortable. And these are times that I'm talking about where you can go into that depression. You can go into addiction. Because if you're hiding it, let's say you're at a family event and your husband's friend comes and, oh, well, you know what? I like you. And I'm going to take you into the corner and I'm going to fill you up. And are you going to tell your husband? If you tell your husband, is he going to get mad? And then if he confronts his friend, what's going to happen with you? You're the guilty party.
You take it on as if it's your situation to bear when you didn't start it. And now you're confused. I want to do the right thing. What do I do? And a lot of times the victims, I don't want people to be mad at me.
Exactly.
I don't want to stir, the pot and make this into a thing, but I want to do the right thing and I want them to stop. And it's just such an uncomfortable situation for that person. It's really too bad.
And that's where it gets into like depression.
Sure.
And fear.
Especially if it's happening over and over again.
Yeah.
The depression's for real.
Yeah. Because it can. That's where it comes back into, well, you feel guilty. You have scars.
What did I do? I must have done something to deserve this.
Yeah.
Or bring it on. Or did I accidentally maybe smile too much? What was he reading from me? You take it all on like it's your... you started it.
You started it.
Yeah.
You are the guilty party.
Right.
And that's how you're treated. You are the guilty party. But this happens. I'll make sure and flip it. It happens to guys as well.
Oh, sure.
Women will approach them and, do the same thing, make them feel guilty, put them in a bad position, maybe with work. Maybe they're a pastor, and they're actually good person, good pastor, and somebody in the church approaches and makes it uncomfortable. It goes both ways.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just men to women.
Not just one gender. Yeah, it's definitely goes both ways. You're absolutely right.
And that even goes back to the kids, it happens to boys and girls. It's not just, nobody is safe.
Nobody's off limits, if you will. I hate to use that term, but it's true. There's just... I guess not a sense of morale, like you don't do that so that this doesn't happen at all from the first place. And that's what gets me, that they just think it's a good idea. Oh, I won't get caught. Yeah. What I'm doing is appropriate even though they're a minor.
Yeah. And and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, really.
And then they kind of, and that's, so one of the things that people would get mad at me, and I know we talked about it the other night, is these older men would just come up to me and go, you are just so beautiful. You are so pretty. You are so pretty. And so people, I would tell people, I hate when men tell me I'm beautiful. I just absolutely hate it. And people, I guess, who don't hear it that much, well, what's wrong with you? You need to appreciate that. You need to say thank you. And I said, you don't know what goes with it. You don't know what, sure, they're telling me they're beautiful, but you don't know the evil that goes along with that.
Well, and you know if it's genuine or not. Is this person just being nice by saying, you look beautiful today in that dress? Or are they saying it for it to go farther where it makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
You know a genuine compliment versus hate to say it, but like creepy compliment.
Yeah.
You do. So,
and I think some people, and this is where I would love to give like seminars. I would love to at some point give seminars for women who are insecure. Like, I'm not being told I'm beautiful. I don't feel like I'm beautiful. And all I wanted was a man to tell me that I'm smart and that I'm nice and that I have a good heart. That's all I wanted to hear. It was like, oh, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful.
Well, because those were safer, right?
Yeah.
The people that would say that weren't trying to hit on a minor while they're married. It was just a different kind of compliments.
Yeah, and it sits with you. It's like, so when you hear that, and so that's why I want to appeal to the women who maybe are really insecure and going, oh, man, she's pretty and she doesn't like to hear it. What I want to appeal to women like that is embrace being a good person, because the good person is what's going to shine. One of the reasons why I married my husband, and I do love my husband, I have the best husband in the world.
I love that for her.
Is he told me, I didn't marry you for your looks. He said, I married you because you made me laugh. He said, nobody's ever made me laugh. Not like that.
But just to say I didn't marry you for your looks, you love that right away, didn't you?
I love
You're
it.
Yes, don't tell me I'm beautiful. Don't tell me.
Well, I used to pray that God would take my looks away. That was like my prayer every night. Will you just take my looks away? Because then I don't have to deal with the pedophiles. And this was one from I was like 11 to 18.
Well, God sent God your way.
Oh, that's what I tell him. I say, you need to say thank you to God, because he didn't take them away.
He didn't take your looks away. He sent you a good man instead. I take that. It's a win-win. You're still pretty, and you got a great guy.
So that's how I remind him, because he'll sometimes go, you're beautiful. And I go, you know that God made me beautiful just for you. Because I asked him to take it away and he didn't. So it was obviously saving for Todd.
Now, how old do you think that you were when you were praying this?
When I was what?
How old do you think you were when you were praying for the God, please take my
I was at 12, 13. I was...
Probably after the first incident at 10.
11.
11?
Yeah. So, I even ask people, I go, what was I like as a kid? Because I don't really remember.
Sure.
I don't remember, and I am curious if I was fun and like outgoing before then. And some people will say in high school, oh, you were outgoing. I was outgoing but guarded.
Yeah, it's a good word.
When I was younger, it was just life is good, and then this thing happens and you shut down. You're just like, brick walls come, the emotions shut down, and you're just like, I'm not even gonna face that.
Right.
So I ask people, what was I like? Was I, and they go, oh, you were so like cheery and, really adventurous, which I am, but at the same time, I was guarded.
Sure.
Now in my 30s, of course.
Right.
But it changes you.
Oh, it does. After that one incident, you are slightly changed, and I would say maybe feeling less innocent. It kind of takes that innocence away from you.
And then you go towards men that are not going to be nice to you and not going to fill, and that's where you get into that like pattern? Pattern down the mountain where you think, so a lot of women, you deserve, and same with men, you deserve to find somebody who will see your worth.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to wait. If you're in a position where you are truly fearful of leaving, like you fear for your life, that's when you want to reach out to, a survivor group, a domestic abuse group, reach out to the police. I found in my experience, the police will only do something if there is physical harm. Like where you can prove here's physical harm.
Maybe it's harder. They're kind of saying that he said, she said.
He said, she said.
Where they want more evidence, proof.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because if somebody's in that position and they're just like, can you not see that I'm here? But the guy or female are, but they're a good person in society. What do they do behind closed doors? You know, and so
absolutely.
I think some people get into this spiral of this is who I deserve.
Sometimes
I don't deserve.
They repeat the pattern.
Yeah. Over and over and over.
Yes.
And they don't feel like they can break it. And it's like.
Or they're not worthy of anything different. Yes.
Because they have that scars. Well, look what look what happened to me.
Right.
So I must have been bad. You know, and it all comes down to psychology.
Sure.
What is the brain doing? What tricks are the brain playing on us?
The mind is a very powerful tool.
The mind is so powerful. And stress is such a huge, it can truly destroy a body. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize how much it can destroy a body. And that's where you have to step back. Hey, I've been there. Like if you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, she's talking to me. She's me. That's me. It's like there is hope, but you have to get out of your own mind. You know, and so that's why the book, I'm not pushing my book. I'm merely sharing.
It's fabulous. I need to buy your book ASAP.
But it teaches how to face your guilt, even though you shouldn't feel guilty. And that's whether you're, let's say, you were married, had a family, your husband or wife passed away, you have somebody new, and they're manipulative and abusive and emotionally, but outskirts, you know, outside, everybody's like, oh, we're so happy for you. And you may be in that position. And that's where you have to be strong. I wish that I could share my strength with like everybody. I wish that I could just take it and be, here you go. Take my strength.
Yes.
Do it, you know, stand strong.
Right.
Use it. But it only came after, like me, myself, after I worked through all of that craziness. So that's my encouragement to people who are in that position is it's the experiences that build us, that make us stronger and stronger. It's like bricks, you know, although you are putting up this brick wall, it's you're using each experience to put the brick, to lay the bricks of strength.
That's right.
Of your soul. And you can.
I agree.
It's just a matter of tapping into that strength. And if I can give you strength, I'll give you strength.
But you're right. You know, everybody has it within them.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I feel like many, you know, it's hard for them to even get started. Maybe they don't know where, they don't know how, they're scared. But I think, yes, if you find that and you really hold on to that and move forward with, this is what you have to tell, this is what I'm going to do. I deserve better. And then all the pieces fall into play. But it's, I have girlfriends. It's just, you have to start though at that first step, which is the hardest step. It's the first hardest step.
Yes. Acceptance, I think, is the biggest. This is actually happening.
And then physically doing something about it, you know.
Because you have to be active. You know, what I write in my book, and this is in my skeletons as well as the book I wrote that inspired the podcast, is how to reach for light in the darkness. Like how to go about it. Because so many people will go, oh, well, just be positive. Just think positive. Don't be stressed. And you're going, how about you take a step in my life?
You need a little bit more than that. If it was that easy, right? How many people would not maybe be in the position that they are, or maybe not repeat the position? It's not that easy.
No.
To be in that situation, it's awful, number one. I have been there. But yes, and sometimes it's just like this dark hole that just sucks you in. And you're trying to get out.
You know,
it does feed.
I tell people, especially if they're prone to depression, is if you keep sitting in that mind, it's just going to pull you down.
Yes.
More and more and more. And you sink.
It's true.
you sink to the bottom and you can't get out. It's those thoughts. And that's where the evil, is so strong.
I don't know if you saw the series on Netflix called Maid.
I did not.
MAID, like a maid house cleaner. And it's so great. And it kind of tells the story of a young mom. She was with the father, but he's abusive. And she tries to make a life on her own for her and her daughter by cleaning. And she's just so resilient and so strong. But, there's those moments where he sucks her back in, like, I'm sorry. Or he changes for a little bit. And, of course, she probably still loves him, so she gives it a try. But after one of the main, like a major fight, you see her, because she would, like, sleep on the couch. She didn't want to be in his bed, which rightfully so, So she's in the bed, but then it's showing where she's, like, basically just sinking into the ground. Like, it's a big hole. Because that's how she felt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I'm literally being buried alive. This hole is eating me up.
Yes.
Because, you keep trusting this person. You keep going back because they promise they'll be different. They promise they'll change. And there are some that do. I'm not saying that this happens to everyone. But a lot of times they're empty words. Mm-hmm. And you give it a few days or a week and they're back to their old, terrible self. And so it just reminded me when you were saying the hole. It's like the couch is like sucking her in. She's going into this hole. And I thought that is how it feels.
Symbolism is very strong because that's exactly how it is. You sink and you sink and it's like you're trying to get out. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are, but don't you understand? I'm trying. That's what the devotional that I wrote is about, is those moments, because it's specifically for depression, addiction, all that. And when you read books, you're like, okay, it's telling me, this is what I should do. This is what I should do. Well, this one I wrote specifically of, I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm not going to just sit there and it's a workbook. So it asks questions where you have to work through your own thoughts.
That's great. That's a great idea.
Somebody's telling you and you're like, okay, well, how do I apply it?
Well, right.
You're telling me, what am I supposed to do?
And there's not a lot of people that maybe have the insight of their mom to help them, or a best friend, or maybe they can't share, right? Because they're embarrassed, or there's the shame. Mm-hmm. And so that's great. I like the idea of your book. That's awesome.
It's from God. I can't take credit. It's definitely a Jesus moment. He was like, because I was going to write a devotional, typical devotional. He's like, no, I'm trying to reach this group of people. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm trying to reach the depressed and the anxiety. So just so you know, Jesus told me to do it. That's how special you guys are.
Yes.
Jesus was like, I'm trying to reach the depressed, the addiction, those who are fighting addiction. And if you've conquered addiction, seriously, my hat goes off to you.
Oh,
that is so difficult to do. So kudos.
I can't even imagine. Oh, yeah.
It's just, so that's what it is it talks, and each one is about a different subject. Oh, so you can look in the front and it will tell you grief. These are the numbers that you can go to. So you can go directly to that instead of going, I have to read every one. Because sometimes you don't want to read the whole thing. So you can go, and then each one talks about something specific with grief. Because, like, if you lose a job, that's grief.
Oh, yes.
If you lose a friend, that's grief. There's so many different kinds of grief.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think, grief is someone passed away. And it's like, no, it's so much more than that. Mm-hmm. Because, you can't go to your favorite gym anymore because they closed it. I mean, that's grief. I know that sounds kind of funny.
No, but I hear what you're saying.
Silly.
That makes sense.
It's grief. It's,
sure.
It may be a little sadness.
Grief
but it's
is
still grief.
Right? An internal feeling of sadness, of loss, right? Mm-hmm. That's what grief is. So, it could be anything that you really love or enjoy that was either taken from you or, like you said, closed down or unavailable, for sure.
It can be anything. Mm-hmm. So a lot of us just automatically, so that's one of the things that the book goes to is grief is, yes, somebody passed away, but also you're not the person you were. Maybe you're grieving that. Mm-hmm. I'm not who I was. I really wish I was that. Maybe a huge, maybe there was an accident and you can't walk anymore. Oh, gosh, that's grief,
Absolutely.
as you know. So it's, or maybe you could sing and unfortunately you had vocal surgery or something. Mm-hmm. That's grief.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot that has to do with grief and it's not So that's why I wrote the book. It was Jesus telling me. And Jesus told me to start this podcast. It was not on my list of to-dos.
Oh, I love it.
And Jesus was like, no, I want to reach people so that they know, come to me. Like, you don't have to sit there. And I talked to somebody today. It was funny. They were raised similar to me. And I was raised, well, in the beginning, it was very strict. Your face. I call it Amish with electricity.
Oh, that would be strict. But electricity, that's a plus. What would it be without electricity? What's another word for strict? Unbearable. I have no electricity.
It's fascinating what you can live with. But I was thinking about these people, and it's like Jesus was going, I'm trying to reach the people who don't want to go to church, who don't want to, which this is for everybody. So if I'm reaching the people who are in church and maybe are like, I just need inspiration, you listen to this, and all of a sudden you go, I'm inspired again. It's not me. It was Jesus. It's not me. I'm just a vessel.
Vessel, yes.
And that's basically what he was going for. I want to reach the people that don't feel they're worthy.
Right.
And it's not that people that go to church don't feel that, but they are surrounded by people who are, well, hopefully, knock on wood, encouraging, supportive. And so those who aren't that, or maybe feel uncomfortable going to church, feel like they're judged. This is Jesus' way of saying, I love you.
And we're here for you.
And we're here for you.
Yes.
And that's where the podcast
Yes, it's so important to share stories or experiences, or even if it's not that, just letting people know that there are resources out there.
Yes.
Don't feel alone, like you have to keep it all to yourself.
And the wall, I know we talked about the last episode that I spoke to the wall. In all those years of all that uncomfortableness and all that married men coming to me, and, I spoke to the wall. That was what would listen, because everybody else it seemed to fall on a deaf ear, because I went to the police. Help me. Help me. And what did everybody say? Oh, well, so sorry.
I can't
We're just going to sweep it under the carpet. So sorry. Terrible. So it's like you get tired of screaming. And it's, what am I going to do? This is just the way it is.
Well, and too, with the wall, they don't talk back to not believe you or give you a problem about it or put it back on you and say, well, what did you maybe do to cause this? It's almost better to hear nothing from anyone. Just let me say what I have to say, then help me.
Well, therapy. Okay, I was going to be a therapist. That was going to be one of my career choices.
So good at that. Are you kidding?
Buck up, man.
Never. See, you'd be a therapist through Jesus.
Exactly.
Jesus would make you the vessel for therapy.
And I'd be like, look, Jesus told me. Okay, lady, crazy lady. But Jesus told me that this is the way it's supposed to be. Well, so today, this is a perfect example of, let's say I'm recentering my life. Okay, I'm almost 50. Recentering my life. Yes, it's about time. On what does God want from me? Okay, so I've totally flipped things. We came here. This has been my dream to come here for how many years? Finally came here.
To Montana.
Yes. And it's like, I want, this is what I'm going to do. And God went, put on the brakes there, chica. It's about me. What do I want you to do? Because guess what? If you do what I want you to do, then you're going to succeed far beyond what you wanted. I've been reading Samuel, 1st and 2nd Samuel. And it was inspired to read that part because I watched the film David. Oh, this most recent film.
Yes.
David. Or series, I guess it is. So I started reading Samuel, just as a reminder of the specifics. And I'm just sitting there going, look at David. Like, every time he got up, he was okay, God, should I do this? Are you going to deliver it for me? Because if you're not, I don't want to do it. If this is where you want me to be, I'll go. But if it's not, I don't want any part of it. And so I'm reading it going, how selfish have I been? Like, I mean, truly, how selfish have I been? This is what I want. This is what I want. And God's like, I asked you to do the podcast. So today, this leads back to today, I was just very tired. I do taxes. And my brain was just like, I'm done. I need a down day.
Yes.
So I worked this morning. I was up early, and then I was just, my body just went, no, you're going to stop for the rest of the day. And so I was actually going to call you and reschedule. And I was going to go, I'm so tired that I don't want to. And God's like, well, do I say I'm tired? Good point. When you need me, do I say I'm tired?
He's never tired.
So
never.
God kind of kicked me in the butt and was like, no, you're getting dressed and you're going over to Megan's. And you guys are going to do the podcast. Why? Because I show up for you and you're going to show up for me.
And then you're showing up for the viewers. You're helping people. That's what this is. That's what this is.
I hope so. Because that's what God was going is,
right.
I told you to do the podcast. This isn't like you running and going, oh, I get to do an episode. This is so great. Woo! I mean, I enjoy it. But, it's not like, this is not my drive to be, let's be the number one podcast. Let's be blah, blah, blah. It was, Jesus is going, I want people to hear so that they can know there is light.
That's right.
Light in the darkness.
Light in the darkness.
But I was the whole time after he told me that, I was kind of laughing. I wanted to share it with you because he's like, I show up.
I'm so glad you did
all the
because
time.
I was looking forward to this all day.
Well, it's fun.
It is so fun.
It is fun.
And sometimes it's okay to take breaks. Sometimes we do need to reset. But I trust that, if you were really, really just exhausted, that you would have called to cancel.
I would have. I actually laid down. I don't ever lay down during the day. Like, that's just not something I do. And I lay down. Even my husband said, maybe you just need to rest. So we just laid around for 3 or 4 hours.
For a little bit, and you were good to go.
And I was good to go. And Jesus was going, you're resting. I'm forcing you to rest because you're going to show up.
Exactly.
For me and for Megan. She's going to end up being my co-host.
I hope so.
I don't know. Did you know that?
No. I say yes.
We're going to have a vote.
If I had a foot.
It's unanimous.
All the way around. Yes, it's just great. It's so fun. Shonna's wonderful. Then, it just feels so good to do what we're doing. If we can help just any one person.
Exactly.
To hear what we're saying, It's
and that they're going to go and be like, you know what? That's exactly what I needed to hear. That's exactly what that you are worth it. Gosh darn it.
Absolutely.
Gosh darn it. You are worth taking care of yourself.
Yes.
And let's say you are, whether male or female, you're in a relationship, you have kids, it's abusive, you have a bad job, they have a bad job, it's just a bad, bad place. And you think that there's absolutely no, you hear, oh, look at her. She's got, she's doing a podcast or she's going to a new job and you just feel like you're stuck and you can go nowhere. My encouragement to you is to pray. And then I know some people will go, just pray, but I'm going to teach you guys how to pray. And this is something that I've learned over time. Okay. It wasn't like you're born into it. I think as you experience bad things, you learn how to pray.
I agree.
I mean, it's not,
It just gets more personable. It gets more in depth. You kind of put more meaning to the words maybe that you're saying. Yeah. Because you're talking with God basically when you're saying it, but to others. So, you've got to just get better at like anything else.
Yeah. It's talking to a friend.
Correct.
So I explained it to my son. So my son is 23. He does not live near me anymore. And as a mother, if anybody has kids, you have kids, you're like, I want to protect them, but he's halfway across the country. So I told him, I even had a talk with him last night or the night before. I said, you are God's child first. 100% God's child first. I just happen to be your mom. Remember, we talked about a lot of that.
Yep.
I'm blessed enough to be your mom, but you are God's child first. So I said, I'm going to tell you how I pray for you. I'm going to pray in front of you to God, but I'm going to pray and so you can hear.
Yes.
So what I did, and this is what you need to do with prayer, is God is very specific. Be specific. Don't be general, because I've heard prayers all, It's not that I don't want to say I'm aloof to it. It's just sometimes people pray and you're like, okay, well, that's the same prayer that they use for everything.
Like,
is it sincere?
Kind of a general, generic, right?
Yeah. So I told my son, I pray and say, God, my son is number one to you. Like, you are number one to him. You are his father. I am his earthly mother.
I love that.
I take second place, and I'm okay with that. I can only do so much. I can only say so much. He is an adult. He is responsible. But at the same time, you want to protect your kids.
Oh, yes.
So, Lord, please fill his mind and his heart with understanding that you will protect him. Encourage him to lean on you. That when he feels anxiety, that when he feels sadness, that when he feels like people are turning on him, that instead of digging into any deep hole, instead of turning to something bad, he concentrates on you. Remind him that you are his father, that you are his caretaker, that you will come in and you will listen to him and you will support him. I can only do so much. I am his earthly mother. You are his heavenly father. And through you, you will keep him safe. If for some reason, God help us, he were, if you take him and you decide that this is the time to take him, I pray that you hold him in your arms, that you accept him quickly. And if there's a time that you choose to take me, especially if it's sometime soon, I pray that you will hold him, comfort him, and encourage him that he is not alone. That when he feels that sadness, he knows that he will see me again.
Yes. Amen.
And that's how I pray.
I love it.
It's
that's specific.
Very specific.
Yes.
And so for you, the guys that feel, I can encourage you that if you say, Lord, show me what you want me to do. It's not going to be some big sign. And it's not going to be, some of you guys are like, show me a sign. And then you're waiting and you're like, it's that story, where it's like, help me, God. And then the boat goes by and he's like, I'm waiting for a sign from God. Oh, help me, God. And then the helicopter comes. And God's like, I sent you what? A boat? A helicopter? I sent you all these things.
Yes.
And I'm going,
what was that?
It's some story. I forget. That,
That's not the movie, what is it, Outcast, that had, or Castaway?
No.
That had Tom Hanks?
No. Because I don't.
But I
talk to God.
Because I remember it's like, I sent you a boat, a helicopter. What more kind of sign did you want,
So it's not looking for some massive sign, because it can be something so simple that you may be depressed going, God, where are you? And then all of a sudden you have this random stranger that go, you know what? You look like you need a good meal. Why don't you come over to my house tonight? Not creepy.
First and foremost, not creepy.
Not creepy, the good kind. But, that's God
So
going, hey, guess what? There's hope.
Yes.
There's not, so when you pray, and if you're in that situation, I mean, we've all been there. I remember scraping by when I was in my, 1920s, scraping by.
Me too.
It was a miracle. I had food. We actually went to a food bank because we couldn't make enough money to pay the bills. So I've been there. It's not something, and you just look for the light and say, God, I'm willing to do what you want, because he's not going to ask you to do anything horrible. He's not going to ask you to do anything that's going to kill you, where you're suffering. And some people will go, oh, well, look, Christians get cancer and Christians get this. Yes, because there's bad stuff in the world, But if you're asking him to help you, show me the way, open the doors, and let me succeed. I will praise you, because something that I've tried to do is I am successful, but I'm only successful because God has opened the doors. I'm not amazing. I'm not somebody who's like, woo, and everybody should just throw things at me. The only reason I have the opportunities I have is because God opened the doors, but I watched for it.
And you were wanting those things, right?
Yes.
So it's something you wanted to do. It was maybe a goal of yours, something that was important. So it was a win-win. It was a match because he knew you wanted it. He was just kind of helping you along, giving you the tools maybe to help you get there.
And it's like you said, paying attention.
Yeah.
And walking the path that's lighted. Because when you're walking the path and all of a sudden you start going down the wrong path and then you end up at this really bad place and you go, how did I get here? And you knew there was a fork in the road and you still took the bad fork.
Or maybe you saw the bad signs, the creepy signs on the way, but you kept going. You probably should have turned around and went the other way. But it's okay. We all do it. I think that's life lessons, right?
Yes.
That's how we learn. But I'm a big believer on that saying, God helps those who help themselves.
Absolutely.
I know it when I built my home, it was a lot. It was all on me. It was a lot of pressure. And there'd be times like, please just give me the ideas or help me get through this. And I felt he was, do I say the word willing? Because I believe he helps everyone. But because I asked for it specifically and because I was helping myself, right? Rather than just laying around expecting him to solve all my problems, right? I was working at it and he kind of helped me along the way.
I think that's like so huge that you said that because I say it all the time.
Yeah.
God helps those who help themselves.
Yes, be proactive.
You have to do the work. God's not going to sit there because a lot of people will be like, oh, where is God? Why isn't God here?
Why isn't he listening to me or hearing me or answering my
or giving
my
me
prayers?
what I want?
Right.
And what are you doing? Sitting on a couch, doing nothing. Like I always teach my son, every day take a step towards what you want, whatever it may be. Take a step and do something towards what you want.
Yes.
Because if you're sitting there, you can't. I relate it the same as always. Jesus is a friend. Okay, so let's say you have a friend who I want to help. I need help. I want to go somewhere. And you're like, yeah, of course, because Megan would do that. I'm here. Let's go. I'm coming to pick you up. We're going to get on it. Oh, no, I just don't feel, I'm going to sit around today.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's really annoying. It's like nothing ever happens for me. And Megan would be like, I'm coming by and I'm picking you up.
Yes.
And then you'd finally get to a point where you'd go, why am I even trying?
You're not trying for yourself. So how can God kind of help you along when you're not proactively doing it yourself?
Exactly.
So that he can guide you. He's not maybe there necessarily to do it for you. But you have to put in the effort and the work, and I think that he definitely helps you along the way. I do.
Well, the story, I did another podcast I think 2 episodes previous, and my husband and I talked about coming out here. And I had wanted to come out here for 4 years. And when I first originally came, I said, I'm coming out here. This was before my husband. In a year and a half, I'm going to move out here. And God's like, well, that's nice that you had those plans. That's great. But
however,
why? Because it works out that I met my husband. It wasn't time for me to move away from my son.
I love that.
We still had 2.5 years.
Yeah.
My husband and I, shortly after I met my husband. And then it was just like, oh, so but God laid the path where now we own property straight out. And every time we walk the property, we're like, God is so good.
I love it.
We sold our house and immediately bought property that we could afford. So it wasn't like going into some debt. It was, I can afford this because we didn't spend extra. It was just like, we sold this and this is what we're buying.
Sure.
But God laid the path.
Yes.
Picked the property. I mean, everything.
I think it's about timing too. I do. It's not to say that he won't help you at any point, but maybe if you feel a little pushback or it's not working out, it's not him not being willing. It's just saying this isn't the time. And then look, next thing you know, something else slaps you in the face. You're like, oh, that was coming your way. That was positive.
I'm laughing because what we talk about in our episode is when we were first looking at property, we hadn't sold our house yet. We had a contract on it. So we were trying to get a contingency.
Mm-hmm.
So we had looked at this first property and we were like, oh my gosh, this is great. Well, they wouldn't take contingency.
Here in Montana?
Here in Montana. And then we found this other property. And we were like, okay, well, we're trying to get land. This is within our, what we can afford.
Mm-hmm.
And every roadblock came. Every single roadblock. Every single.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even our real estate agent was like, I have never seen any complete resistance to something being completed.
Right.
Ever. And it was just God going, I said no. Okay. Wait until you move out here and then buy the property.
Look at that. Yep.
And it was just literally.
Mm-hmm.
So finally we were like, okay, it fell through. God put the roadblocks up. And we
Not meant to be.
Not meant to be. Mm-hmm. Well, it just so happens that when we moved here, the property that we first looked at came back on the market.
Oh my gosh. The one that you really wanted, but with all the roadblocks?
Uh-huh. Well, no, the first one.
The first one.
The first one that they wouldn't take contingency on.
The contingency.
So that was never even going to be an option because we had to, have something with contingency, and which I wouldn't suggest contingency normally. But we were anxious to get out here. Yeah. And we had a plan. Yeah, we had a plan. And God's like, no, congratulations, you had a plan. Good job. Good job. You came up with it all on your own.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a no. And here you go. And now we're just so happy with our property.
So you were interested in it. We know about the contingency. You went back home. How long until you came back and then saw that the property was up for sale again?
That was from, that was like 3 months.
So
we were out here.
Okay.
Put a contract on the one. And we were planning on moving, and we're like, okay, the countdown is on. When our house is going to be closing, countdown is on.
Yes.
Well, it fell through within maybe a couple weeks of us closing because it kept getting postponed. Our closing kept getting postponed over and over. And we were just like, what is going on? God's like, you people are not getting it. Just stop it. And so we joke now the other property was on the main road. Well, I loosely say main because we're in Montana.
Yes, there's really no main roads here. I mean, in our city that we live in.
In our city, yeah. So it's just right up the road, but it's a main road.
Okay.
And now we live off a dirt road. And we always said we wanted to live off a dirt road. And God's like, I'm giving you your dirt road. You're just not being patient.
Yes, that's another good word, patient.
Yeah, never pray for patience. Never. God will teach it to you. You don't have to pray for it and ask it. I promise. It's not something that you need to ask for.
Well, and at such an early age, that's kind of the thing I remember from my parents, be patient. Be patient. It's kind of a childhood thing that you learn.
Yeah, and then you still don't learn it through adulthood. And then
a lot of people they don't like it. They really can't be patient. I try. I definitely do. I think I'm pretty good at it. But yeah, it's something you have to work at.
Well, now we're saying, because I talked about my husband and watching The Chosen, and now he's, he's funny how he's come around to God, which he's like, oh, I could have believed in God. And now he's the one that's telling me, we need to pray about that. You're wanting to do this, but you know what? Because we're, we got to put in the well and we have to put septic. Anybody who's built understands all this. So it's a matter of how can we do it, as a plan. You've built
I've been
you
there,
understand.
So I can give you some tips.
So my husband, being his wise one now, was like, God has the drill, whoever's going to put in the well picked out. And he has whoever's going to put in the septic picked out. And he has all this lined up.
Yes.
But we need to wait for their time to say, hey, you know what? God told me that it's time for me to do it. He's like, God has a plan. And it may not be in our timeline, but it's in his timeline. So we need to trust that. And I'm looking at him going, who are
That's
you?
so funny.
Who are you?
You birthed him. You taught him all that.
And he's like, we need to trust God. God brought us out here, and God gave us this property, and we need to trust what God says. And I'm going, I don't know what happened, Jesus, but So I joke and say he's my biggest miracle. Like, for what God has given me, he has to be the biggest miracle of watching his transformation. And I didn't do anything. Like, I've never pushed faith on people.
Yeah, you said you didn't push it on him.
Never pushed it on anybody. I don't try to convince anyone. I think everybody has their right to opinion, their right to belief. You know, I need to respect yours the same as you respect mine. Because, hey, I don't know how I would feel somebody coming in and going, by the way, everything you believe is wrong. And you should feel guilty for what you believe. And, you know, I don't like that.
No.
I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me, so I'm not going to do that. So I never was like that to him. And it was just, and he'll tell me, I just came around on my own. Jesus has been knocking on my door since I was 20.
Okay.
And he's like, I just didn't really, he goes, but now I hear you and you've never pushed me. And I watched The Chosen, and he said, and God just finally got through to me.
I love that.
I'm like, well, okay. And you're the one that's telling, we need to pray about this.
Oh, God.
So he's my biggest miracle. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, I have the best husband.
And she does.
He's very supportive. He accepts me for who I am. He doesn't push me. He doesn't push me to be somebody different. Doesn't push me to be somebody that I don't want to be. He's, you know, thinks I'm very smart and beautiful, and he thinks I'm hilarious. Maybe the only person, but he does.
I think you're hilarious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was going to be a stand-up comedian, but, you know.
Are you? Oh, my gosh.
I would have
many
liked
trades.
to.
Really?
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
That would actually be a lot
I have a friend
of fun.
who is. He's a stand-up comedian. And he told me the joke the other day. I said, you're so versatile. But, you know, why did you become a comedian? He said, because everything else failed. This is my last line.
Get it? Last line?
But
I was just going to do that. I always do it.
It's interesting, the path that God carries us down.
Yes.
But if you want to be on the podcast, please send us an email, hislightinthedarknesspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can write a message, follow, subscribe, like us, and share a moment. You know, feel free to share some of your stories. If you want to write us a letter or something, we'd be happy to share.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would have to be concise, but we would be happy to share your moments.
Yes. Any questions you may have?
How you've conquered. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are going through what we've discussed. There's always light in the darkness. It's just a matter of finding it.
I would love to hear other people's journeys because it's so fascinating, right? Everybody's kind of different.
Everybody has a journey.
Yeah.
Yes. I wrote a song, and because I write and sing. I think I told you that.
Is there anything you
I
don't
can't remember, but what are the words? Recording has been paused. Oh, I don't know what happened. Alrighty. So anyway, not sure when that happened. Yeah, and it's a song that I wrote. I was driving and I was sitting in the back seat. We were driving through Kansas and it was dark, like so dark.
So dark, like not even a moon in the sky.
Not even a moon in the sky.
Pitch black.
And I said, I need to write a song about depression. And I'm like, okay. I personally do not suffer with depression. I mean, everybody has down days, you know, but as far as the serious depression.
Like a clinical
depression, I do not have. But God was telling me the words. So it's like, let me think of the song. Seems like the same thing every day, sitting on the ground, not even going to try to pray. No one's listening to my voice. Let's see. No one's listening to my voice. I reach out, but I don't have a choice.
Oh.
The darkness surrounds me. It is my friend. Always there, always listening.
Mm-hmm.
I
like it.
Let me fall, let me fall. Let me be here with nothing at all.
Aww.
Let me fall, let me fall. My heart is broke, my spirit in chains, but you were never there, so you can't say a thing.
I like it.
Now the very end is, I look up and I see the light.
Aww.
So even though it's depressing and it kind of, like when people hear it, they go, that's exactly, you have to be depressed. Like, you connect with the words, but it wasn't me.
Sure.
God gave me the words.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, I can't claim them. It was Jesus giving me the words.
It was perfect for that occasion. For about depression, it was perfect.
Yeah. But at the end, it's, I look up and see the light. And hopefully that's what this podcast does.
Yes.
Is you see the light.
Always light at the end of that tunnel.
And it's not our light. It's Jesus's light. And remember, Jesus is for everybody.
So then would it be light at the end of the tunnel if it's Jesus's light? Am I saying that right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because it's light, yes, at the end of the tunnel.
I hear many people, though, that have had experiences of maybe passing away for just a few minutes, say on the surgical table, that just the sky just opens up and it's so beautiful and there's this beam of light and they just walk it.
I can see that.
And I'm just like, I'm so in awe. I'm like, that sounds amazing.
I think we've talked about it. Like heaven, I think is...
I would love to talk more.
I think it's just... It's beyond what we can explain. It's not just... It's not like this white room. I think it's just, we can't even imagine it. It's so far beyond a human capacity to even entertain the thought of what heaven would be. I mean, I know we say, oh, it's in the clouds, la, 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 la. I don't think so. I think it's on a different complete plane. And it's something that is
so beautiful. Like Jesus is there to greet you. And then they say family members. And that just gets me. I'm just like, the people waiting on the other side, That's what I've heard. Of course, nobody can really say that they've come back, they talk about it. I mean, there are stories of people, like I said, near-death experiences, but I believe in it.
Oh, yeah. I just think it's far beyond our comprehension. But Jesus is Jesus. Jesus loves everybody.
That's right.
Okay, so if somebody's going, you're not worth it, you're not worth it, you're not worth God's love, God doesn't love you, then they're lying. That's where the evil is talking to you. Remember, Jesus loves everybody.
Yes.
Even if you hate him, even if you deny him, even if you curse him, he still loves you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, any other king, anybody would just be like, you're gone. But Jesus says, I still love you.
Yes.
She's so funny. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. If you guys want to be on, if you want to share any of your stories, we would love to hear them. I love to hear encouraging stories. If you want us to pray for you, if you want to just share your story because you just need to vent and you have no one else to vent to and you just want us to read it, doesn't mean we're going to read it on the podcast. We can just read it. You can even write, I just want you guys to read this. I need somebody to hear me.
Yes.
Then send it to us. Right?
Love it.
And Megan and I will sit down together and we'll read it together and we'll pray for you. And, a lot of times people say, I'll pray for you. And you're just like, okay, whatever, as if you're going to pray for it. We will truly pray. We'll even get a list of people. Whoever writes in, whoever says anything, we'll get a list.
Yeah.
We'll pray for you. So that way you're not alone because you're never alone.
No, you really aren't. You're never alone.
Jesus is always with you.
Yes.
Like it or not. Alrighty, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.